In the lesson of today, we're talking about cooperative language learning. If Cooper is CLL, and this is cooperative language learning. This means is a part of a more general instructional approach, also known as CL, that is collaborative learning. Collaborative learning is an approach to teaching that makes measure of use of cooperative activities involving pairs or small groups of learners in the classroom. This is connected with John Dewey in the 1960s and in the 1970s. He promoted the idea of building cooperation in learning into a regular classroom on a regular and systematic basis. This is connected with the theory of procedure for Johnson in 1994. He explained that if we practice and maybe with essay or report, or if we're doing a poem, we practice this kind of element, because we need to know the things that we try to explain to others and that kind of things. Johnson in 1984 explained that things. He had a theory that is related with John Dewey. John Dewey tried to promoting some ideas, and later Johnson take that and try to explain that, but in a better way. He had ideas with the reach, because that potential is in the procedure. Try to explain that kind of things and try to practice that. Of second language teaching, this offers 6 learning advantages for ESL students in CLL classrooms, and these are the 6, but we put a asterisk in the number 3, 4, and 5, because we think that it's the most important part of the 6 learning advantage. The first we choose is opportunities to integrate language, because we have a lot of chances to integrate that, maybe in movies or in some songs that we singing when we stay with our friends, that kind of things. And this is a good opportunity to integrate language to our life. The number 4, because opportunities to include a greater variety of curricular materials to stimulate. We need to stimulate everyone. And if we have children, we need to stimulate them. They are as a sponge, and they knowing everything. If we try to learn some, maybe, I don't know, idiom, it's more difficult to us. But when we are child and we have children, that is easily. The other number is 5, because freedom for teachers to master new professional skills. Everyone needs to go far away and know more things that we know. Maybe travel to other country or going to other university, and this is part of our professional career, maybe. And this is the 6th learning advantage, and we think that these 3, 4, and 5 are the most important.
Now we are continue with approach and the theory of language, and CLL is founded on some basic premises about the interactive, cooperative nature of language. And we have here the premises. The first one said that all normal children growing up in a normal environment learn to talk. This means that we want to talk. It's nature, it's like the nature of human being. The second one said that most talks or speech is organized as conversation. This is the same as first one. It's something natural to make conversation with others. For example, in a classroom, you are always talking with your partner. It's like normal. Premise 3 said that conversation operates according to a certain agreed upon set of cooperative rules or maxims. And in premise 4, we have that one learns how these cooperative maxims are realized in one's native language through casual. This means that these rules or maxims that we have in premise 3 are learning or realized in a casual way, like in a conversation with your friend or with your classmate, with your teacher. It's in a normal conversation. Premise 5, said that one learns how the maxims are realized in cooperative international activities. This involves the activities made in the classroom. We, with the teacher, made these activities in group, and children can realize how these maximum rules are used in the structure of the language. And finally, with all these premises that I already said, we understand that CLL is used to support both structural and functional models as well as international model of language. Okay, we have here now the theory of learning, and we can found in the theory Piaget and Vygotsky. And they say that social interaction have a central role in learning, and this central premise of CLL is that learners develop communicative competence in a language by conversing in socially or pedagogically structured situations. CLLs also seek to develop learners' critical thinking skills, which are seen as central to learning of any sort. One approach to integrating the teaching of critical thinking is called the question matrix, and cooperative activities built on the matrix that encourage learners to ask and respond to a deeper way to alternative questions. Kagan and other social theorists have adopted this framework as an underlying learning theory for cooperative learning.
Okay, I'm going to speak about the design of this type of methodology. And first of all, I'm going to speak about the objectives of the cooperative language learning. First of all, I'm going to say that in this type of methodology, it should be designed to foster cooperation instead of competition, which is the actual methodology in our system. Because of the cooperation work, we are able to say that we will be developing critical thinking and communicative competence. That means that since we are making our student interact with the other, they will be able to receive the input in an open-minded way, and they will be able to express their opinions in a better way and more critical. Next, I'm going to speak about the syllabus. First of all, we should say that there isn't a formula of how to make the syllabus in the cooperative language learning. That means that is because there is a wide variety of curriculum orientation, but we will be able to say that every syllabus should be systematic and carefully planned forms. That means that every teacher should be extremely circumspect and organized when doing this type of methodology. Next one, I'm going to speak of 3 types of cooperative learning groups. The first group is the formal. Its duration is from 1 week to several weeks more, and it should be a group of 3, 6, or maybe that kind of size, and you will be proposing a project that they will be working in order to achieve the goal. All they are doing is to reach the goal. The informal group duration is from some minutes to the class period. That means that it is the shortest one, so that means that you will be able to propose a project for them. But this type of group will help you to improve or make easier to learn in a direct teaching method. The next one is the cooperative-based group, and this is the longer period. Its duration is from 1 year to other, and this group is the most compact group, and they will help each other, they will care about each other, and they will be able to know their strengths and their weakness. Next, I'm going to speak about 2 questions that might help you to understand the cooperative language learning. The first one is this method successful? Actually, this method will be successful if you are organized and if you keep on doing the systematic and carefully planned forms. That means that you have to be organized, that you have to care about every little detail. The next one is, what are the key elements? The key elements are 5. The first one is positive interdependence. That means, and it's related to the slogan, one for all and all for one. That means that everybody is going to suffer something and everybody is going to learn something. The next one is the group formation. That means the size, the selection, and the roles. The size of the group, how the students are selected, and the roles of every student. The next one is individual accountability. That means that every student should be learning and every group should has every student learning. You will be able to make interviews or make them perform their learning process. The next one is the social skills. Since it is cooperative, there will be students that will be able to socialize more. And the next one is the structuring form. That means that, and it's connected to this, that it should be very well organized, each group and each project. That's it.
Coelho in 1992 set 3 major kinds of cooperative learning tasks. The first one is team practice from common input, which includes skills development and mastery of facts. The second one is the GSO, which differentiated but predetermined input and includes evaluation and synthesis of facts and opinions. And the third one is the cooperative project, which includes topic, resources, and selected by a student. It is. The first one is the team practice, which is when everyone knows the same information in order to answer whatever the question is. And this technique is good for those group of people which are unstable and for adults programs, for example, etc. The GISO, which is the second one, is when they have different information and then they use this one to synthesize facts in order to have opinions and evaluation themselves. Yes. And the third one is the cooperative project, which is what are we doing now? Information in order to presentation to the whole class and to answer all these questions together. This method and individualization of the students and their interests. Olsen and Kagan describes the following examples of cooperative language learning activities. The first activity is the three-step interview, which is like a role play. We have an interviewer and an interviewee, and they speak about an opinion, and they reverse roles, and each one shares after that with a group of people what they were talking about. The second one is the round table, which needs a paper and a pen. One student in a very big group, have a paper, and they write a contribution. Then he passed to the student on the left the paper, and they make a contribution too. So each student make a contribution, and if one orally, the structure is called round robin. The third one is the think per share, which is an opinion in groups with low consensus. The teacher poses a question. Anyone can ask it, answer it, sorry. And this question is a low consensus one. The students think of our further response, they give their opinions, they give a response to their partners, and after that, they respond with the class in general. The number 4 is the solve per share, which is an individual opinion with a question of high or low consensus. This is individual. It is a question that the teacher proposes or a problem, and students work out solutions individually. They explained it, they solved it, and it's the same. It can be a role play then, a role play activity after that, or a round table or round robin one. And the last one is the number heads, which is in groups, in little groups in the class with a question of high consensus. This is a question that they resolve in groups, like group number 1, group number 2, group number 3, and in those groups, one of them have a number. For example, in the group number 1, they have in the student number 1, the student number 2, the student number 3, and 4. The teacher then asks for the number 4, for example, and all the students with the number 4 came to the board and explained their opinions and why they were talking about it, what are the answers of that question. That is the 5 describes activities of cooperative language learning.
Let's move on to another topic, learner roles. The primary role of learners is work on tasks with other group members. Also, they have to learn teamwork skills and lead their own learning. Apart from that, they are taught to plan, monitor, and evaluate their own learning. So it involves direct and activate involvement and participation. There are 2 types of pair groups. The first one is pair grouping, and the second one, pair task. In pair grouping, this is considered the most typical CLL format. On the other hand, in pair tasks, learners have to alternate roles such as tutor, checkers, recordings, and information sharers. Another topic, teacher roles. In this method, the work of teacher is completely different with the regular work, because teacher has to create a highlight structure and well-organized learning environment, obviously in the classroom. The main role is called facilitator of learning, because the teacher has to move around the class, helping a student, giving feedback, asking questions. So the teacher is control
the people's mind. Something good about this method is that teachers speak less than in teacher front lessons, which is good. And something good at the same time is that teachers can broad questions to challenge thinking and prepare students for the tasks that they will carry out. So the teacher gives them the opportunity to express their ideas, their beliefs, or whatever. Continuing with the same topic, Johnson said in the 90s 3 things related with the teacher. First one, the teacher take your exciting lessons, curriculum, and sources. Second, the teacher tailor cooperative learning lessons. And finally, the teacher diagnose the problem. So, students may work together in order to resolve these problems. And I think it's a good way to find the answer that the professor needs. The role of instruction material is another topic. As you can see in this kind of lessons, the materials play an important part in creating opportunities for students to work cooperatively. Moreover, the same materials can be used in other type of lessons, which is very good because you can reuse the material no matter the subject. Probably you can use this type of lessons with a scientific or with, I don't know, with math, with English, whatever. I think that this method is very good for every teacher.